Ketch, do you live over by Amy? She said she saw you and you guys were talking the other day about this.
Yeah, I live over by Amy. I live about 4 doors down from Amy, maybe 6.
You're that close, huh?
Yeah, she's right down the street. Our kids play together sometimes, and she's wonderful.
So
is her husband.
You're doing homeschooling. Are you having to teach, or are the classes given to you and you kind of observe them learning?
It's pretty cool getting to be super engaged with their learning, but the school, I started the school. This is a school that I started down the street from me, and I'm the chairman of the board and the founder. That's sort of been my, all of us in the country music business, we're charitable people. We're charitable types. For me, my charitable pursuits run me straight into education because that's my family business. My parents were lifelong educators. So I started the school about 5 years ago down the street called Episcopal School of Nashville, and it keeps me pretty busy when I'm not on the road. So it's been really fun, not only for my own kids, but creating a distance learning program for all of the kids in the school. And then on Friday will be the first time that I do an Instagram Live for the school kids and do some story time and some music as well.
You started a school. I had no idea.
Yeah, this is true.
You didn't want to name it the
nation's newest Episcopal school.
And you didn't want to name it the Ketch School of Arts or, Ketch Middle School, nothing like that?
No, man. No, it's not for my own glory, that's for sure. If I did, I would have picked something a lot easier, man.
Last time we saw each other was, I think, side stage at the Opry. It's always good.
The Grand Ole Opry, God bless it.
It's always good to see you because I tell you, when you guys play, talking about Old Crow, that is, it's like a party on stage. I would compare it, and I've compared it in interviews, to watching when a hip-hop artist gets on stage and he has 8 guys on stage with him they're all going, yeah, yeah, except you guys are doing that, except you all are supremely skilled with your instruments and vocals. It is just a sight to be seen whenever you get to see an Old Crow performance. And I've been able to see you guys play at the Opry a few times, but not out on the road. What's an Old Crow show like out on the road?
Well, I must say it's a lot wilder than it is at the Opry because, the Opry is largely a tourist crowd and, folks are a little bit more presentable. They get dressed up and at an Old Crow show they get drunk. They have a wild time and they throw down. And so you'll see the spirit just almost raises the roof when we play out on the road. And I can't tell you, I'm sure you're doing a lot of interviews with guys and gals right now who are saying the same thing. We just can't wait to get back to the people.
Yeah. I was kind of reading about the infancy of Old Crow, and it says that you guys started busking on street corners in the late 90s. But who is you guys? Who are the ones that were busking?
Well, it's funny, Bobby, but at this point, it's been 21, maybe 22 years now. 98 is when we started, so this is our 22nd year of operation. And it's at that point where I'm the last guy from the original, street corner crew.
How do you feel about that? You're the last blue link on Wikipedia. When you look up the page, you're the one that's still in the band.
Yeah, I guess so. It feels right because, it was my idea and, somebody had to keep it all together. And I miss my guys from long ago and I miss my guys from recently and I love all of the members that have come through the ranks and we've launched careers and we've stuck it out and, I'm a stick it out kind of guy. So, it makes sense that I'd still be here. But man, I always think when I think about a question like that, I always think about Merle Haggard saying that a life in country music is like a 50-year bus ride.
Yeah. When you guys were playing back then, what songs are you busking with? What's Ketch at the infancy of Old Crow busking on the street corner with? What songs?
Well, Bobby, back then there was this really kind of strong ideology to the band that we were here to preserve old-time mountain music at all costs and protect it from the perils of all other commercial country forms, including bluegrass and other things that were not pure, true vine stuff. Now, I think about that attitude now 22 years later, and I think I love music. I just want to sing. I don't care what it is. But when I was 18, it had to be old-time string band music or nothing. And that's what Old Crow was out on the corner playing, was square dance music from the 19th century, if you can believe it, in the late 90s.
So your parents put what kind of influence on you? Because, you know, most teenagers aren't playing old mountain string music.
Yeah, it wasn't so much my parents. I mean, my parents are the ones that taught me how to. I mean, my educational background is was really helped me with this. You know, the same kind of guy that can keep an old time string band from a curb to a arena, as we've done, largely as an opener. We don't play a lot of arenas, but when we played to some big crowds, and the same kind of spirit that allowed me to do that is also the same spirit that could help me start a school. Because what you need to start in the music business is luck and a divine talent and patience and faith and commitment. And it turns out those are actually the same prerequisites for starting a school as well. But for me, the reason I went with old-time music in my teens wasn't because of my parents, but it was because I played punk rock, and suddenly I made this transition to old-time string band music, and it felt so much like the same rabble-rousing, all-for-one, guts and glory, last man standing kind of, you know. To me, it was like Social Distortion or the Ramones. I felt a raw intensity to the fiddle and the banjo working together and shouting out those lyrics.
Yeah, I'm reading here, too, about Wagon Wheel. And which now for me, it's been 2 generations because I didn't know the Dylan part. I know it wasn't even a full song till you guys got it, but I knew you guys, and then I knew again when Darius did it at Country. But you were 17 years old, is that true, whenever you got a hold of Wagon Wheel?
Yeah, my buddy Critter, who is a founding member of Old Crow, who just retired last year. Critter brought me this bootleg when I was in, junior in high school. And it had this, we were listening to so much Bob then. It was like we were at the school of Bob Dylan. And so I heard this bootleg, and I just knew it was a hit. And so I wrote dashed off some lyrics, and then I had this song. But the story got even richer when I went to publish it because Bob Dylan said, sure, we'll split it 50-50, but by the way, Bob says he didn't write it. Bob said he learned it. It's a traditional song that he learned from Arthur Crudup. Now, Big Boy Crudup was from Memphis, a rhythm and blues player, and he's the guy that first recorded the song, well, that's all right, mama, that Elvis made such a big hit. Well, then it turned out that Big Boy Crudup didn't lay claim to the song either. He attributed it to Big Bill Brunzi, a generation earlier, from Mississippi, who moved to Chicago. So anyway, if you believe that story, that then in its near century-long gestation, Wagon Wheel sees a shared authorship among 3 African Americans, a Jewish musical icon, and me. That's how far it took to get to Darius and to go number 1. Unbelievable story.
But when you get it, it's not complete. If there were all of these writers on it, how come the song wasn't complete, Ketch?
It was missing that part about Johnson City and the hitchhiking trip. It was missing the Odyssey. It had this framework, but and what makes the song really beautiful to me is that it's an example of a true folk song. I mean, it took people that couldn't even sit down at the same lunch counter together to become a hit for the biggest African American star in country music.
So you have it, you write it. Do you ever? How long until you actually get to talk to Bob Dylan in human life?
I've never met the man, Bobby.
You still haven't met him? Unbelievable.
No, I never met him. But one time after we had done a lot of work with Mumford and Sons, and Mumfords were on the Grammys, and we were out at one of our guys was out at the Grammys hanging out with the Mumford boys, and they did this big mashup one year with Dylan and the Avett Brothers, and they're all hanging out before this rehearsal, and Bob is and my friend from Old Crow is talking with T-Bone Burnett, and he's saying, yeah, I'm from Old Crow. Remember we just did that project together on that Bill Monroe movie that never came out, when all of a sudden a shadowy figure lurking in the corner comes forth and says, are you at Old Crow? And Gil, my buddy in Old Crow, says, yeah, man, I'm in Old Crow. And Bob says, well, you guys are killing it.
And he met Bob Dylan.
Never met, but according to the man, Old Crow's killing it.
Wow. So Darius gets it. First time you heard Darius's version, was it when it was already done and mastered, or did someone send it over to you first?
I had to approve a couple of lyric changes, but they were just written on paper or in an email or whatever. So first time I heard it was on WSM in 2013, and I wept great big muddy tears and just felt like I just said hallelujah.
Wow.
And I still say it.
Old Crow will be releasing a new song on Friday called Nashville Rising. Now I'm going to play a little bit of it here. So hopefully you'll hear it over your phone here. So here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ain't we gonna rise up, singing again? We're gonna build it back together.
So Nashville Rising is coming out 1 month to the day from when the tornadoes hit Nashville. So tell me about this song, Ketch, just the whole thing here.
Well, I live in East Nashville. My kids and I heard the sirens go off at 12:55 on the morning of Super Tuesday, and I looked out the window and there was no wind, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be something a lot worse than a tornado. We went downstairs when the wind started whipping, and the kids screamed, and it was really intense, and then it passed, and I turned and I said, I bet. Let's say a prayer, honey, because I know a lot of people might have been killed by this somewhere in Kentucky. Little did I know when I got up the next morning that it was 2 blocks away from my house. Literally 2 blocks. I live right by the 5 Points neighborhood. We frequent the very community that has been destroyed. And so it was really easy to feel deep empathy. I didn't have power for a week, and same with others, and along with my friends in my school and other colleagues, we went right out and pitched in East Nashville, North Nashville, up in Mount Juliet, and checked in with friends up in Putnam County, where so much terrible damage was done. About a week after the storms, having been out there and bringing in, cutting up wood and bringing roof materials out to curbs and doing that work that makes you feel so good. I wanted to do more, and so one morning, Saturday morning, I took a walk and I saw the East End Methodist Church, and it was, I'm going to get choked up and start crying. It was so intensely destroyed, and the stained glass is sitting there hanging on, and you can see right into you can see the pulpit from the road. It's just smithereens. And I went home and wrote this song real quick. And then this was the day before the national quarantine was announced. Now, we still made the record about 6 feet apart because that's sort of what you do in a studio anyway. We called Molly Tuttle up. We got a few members of Old Crow. We had a brand new song that was 18 hours old, and then we just sung it. And then we sent it out to our buddies because by then the quarantine was in. And so a bunch of Old Crows recorded remotely, and then some special guests from the East Nashville community also lended a voice. Then we worked it out with the Community Foundation to have a fundraising initiative, and then we had a great time making this video for it, largely made up of cell phone photos that many of which I took or friends from my school took from just living here in East Nashville where there's so much destruction.
Proceeds from the song will directly benefit the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee's Emergency Response Fund. Wow. That whole story is crazy. So how is it over by your house now? Because isn't it weird that the tornado hits and then all of a sudden the coronavirus hits and it's like the focus has just been shifted so quickly?
Yeah, it certainly feels really strange, I think, anywhere in the world right now. But here, at least in East Nashville, where I live, there's rubble everywhere. I mean, it's not like it went away here. The cameras went away. A bunch of the volunteers are well, of course, you can't do it anymore. You got to social distancing. So it's like the rebuild is on pause. But the way I've been thinking about it, Bobby, is that our community had a kind of a precursor. Like we got to sneak a peek behind the curtain at what was coming. And what did it make us do? It made us unite. The tornado brought us so close together. Well, now coronavirus has brought us 6 feet apart, but we are still united. And we've got a head start on the kind of unity that our nation is going to need right now. we got a head start on it in Nashville. So when I think about Nashville Strong and when I think about Nashville Rising, I think about that for everybody around the country, around the world. Because of our getting through this natural disaster, we are better equipped to handle this second one.
Well, Ketch, you've convinced me. I was on the fence. I was like, I don't know, will we make it? But now I believe we will. After that speech right there, Ketch, I'm totally in, baby. I'm in. Hey, do you let your kids watch Netflix, Ketch?
I'm calling on my landlord because I just got a smartphone. I've been sort of in the dark here, but I just got Instagram and all this other stuff, and it really worked out well because I'm starting to do stuff on Instagram now that I can't tour anymore. But no, to answer your question, Mr. Bones, I have not gotten Netflix yet. Should I?
Well, I was wondering because, just knowing of you outside in real life land a little bit, I knew you probably didn't, but I didn't know if quarantining had opened your eyes to the vast amounts of media there is to consume for your children.
Oh man, I'm still spinning Pete Seeger records over here. Abby yo, I'm going to send you some. I got a new children's book I'm reading a podcast of. This is such a great opportunity to create meaningful media that's community oriented and for kids. And not to argue that there isn't that stuff on Netflix already, but hey, let's do it right here in Nashville, Tennessee. We don't got to wait for the purveyors from Hollywood. We can do it for one another's kids.
Are you guys going to go back out as soon as all this is over?
Oh, the minute this is over, you can bet Old Crow is going out to celebrate our 22-year victory lap around the most ridiculous story anybody ever told about a street corner string band making it. In the ways, and we're so thankful to Darius. We're so thankful to the Grand Old Opry and to those sort of institutional mainstream country music pieces that have allowed us to be a part of the story and to reach people. Because Bobby, that's what it's all about. And now more than ever, we can see that the power of music, it's transcendent. It goes far, far beyond sales or spins. It's about reaching people's hearts and bringing peace and comfort, joy and unity.
Ketch, I'm a big fan of you. I love Sally, who you work with, who I'm so close to as well. And she sent me a text. She goes, I think you two are kindred spirits, but I think you are the motivational. I think you are the heart of that spirit. I'm just the guy that pushes the button that talks. So, Ketch, I'm a big fan. It's good to talk to you, man.
Bobby, I'm a big fan of yours too, my friend, and I wish you peace and thank you for speaking to so many people in the way that you are right now with this captive audience that needs to hear this message. So thanks for spinning Nashville Rising. That's what we got right now, and we'll have something new, even coming up, because that's what you just got to keep singing.
That's true. All right, Ketch, good to talk to you, bud.
All right, man. Peace.
Hey guys, it's Bobby Bones. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and then go check it out. A lot of artists, a lot of songwriters, a lot of music. Welcome to the Bobby Cash channel.